These lights are brighter than I remember.
Yeah, don't look right into that.
Wow, we cranked to 500 lumens.
Yep. Need some ice.
Okay.
Every time we
Season
record,
finale.
it feels like it's been 20 weeks since we
Yeah.
recorded. Oh, yeah. Still doing it.
Hello. We are still doing it. And this podcast is not for you.
Season 2 finale.
Finale. So, just real quick. Just wanted to do a quick overview of Season 2. If you are just now finding us somehow on our Season 2 finale, welcome. We're going to talk a little bit about the episodes that we did for Season 2. Just real quick before we get into the meat of this episode. What was your guys' favorite episode of Season 2?
Boy. I really enjoyed doing the Red Rising board game review.
That was fun.
We got to film it in a different space downstairs. We had Nathan on again.
Yeah.
And
Tangible.
filming it was fun.
Yeah.
I got to even edit in a couple of shots of stuff. So that was a nice change of pace,
Yeah.
I think. That was a good one. And then anytime we do right after the movie, quick reviews,
Yeah.
I enjoy.
Yeah, I was going to say the Dune review is my favorite, I think. A lot of episodes in season 2.
We did 3 quick reviews this year, didn't we? We did No Time to Die, Green Knight, and
Dune. Yeah.
and Dune.
Yeah.
And then you guys also did A Quiet Place 2, right? Or was that season 1?
I think it was. I have no idea.
I
It
don't
was a
know.
bonus app somewhere.
Yeah.
But
I think mine's probably the I was looking over them today. The double feature Tyler Kakak episodes probably are a standout, just because
that
it
was
was
good.
interesting. I mean, in the biz, right? He's in the biz, and
And he's gone.
yeah,
He is somewhere.
he is
We
somewhere.
probably can say.
Between here and Canada, Vancouver somewhere?
I
right?
would say
He's working on a project in Vancouver.
Vancouver, and this is the sign language for Vancouver. So, anyway,
He is also in Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah,
That is-
somehow he's in it.
He's a villain. He's one of the
yeah,
villains.
so I'm excited. I hope that we can have him on again after that. I think that would be amazing. And yeah, that was a fun one. I really liked the Bo Burnham episode. I mean, we cut that one short, and we could have done a 2-parter, obviously. So yeah, I would say that those two are I guess Tyler's was 2. So those 3
Yeah,
really stand out. But
it's a lot of fun ones.
Mhm.
I think it was a good season, guys.
Yeah, I feel like we got better.
And it was a good series. It was a good show. Because it's over now.
This is also the series finale. We didn't tell anybody.
it could be. We never
You
know.
just don't know.
Yeah.
Could come back, we could not.
So I'm just going to say real quick, if you're listening on Spotify, we will have an audience poll. So why don't you pull that app up, and you can tell us what your favorite episode this season was. We had 40 to choose from,
And then
which is just crazy to think about.
We will absolutely do more episodes like the ones you choose because
For
we
sure.
are desperate for listens.
For sure.
No, we're going to
yeah.
do the ones that get the least amount of votes.
Which we will keep reviewing The Office.
We're going to go back and do it again.
Keep doing it again. So this is up to the 60th episode, and I thought it would be a fun idea, and these gentlemen indulged, and we will be talking about
It was a good.
the
stuff.
best money.
The best money that movies can buy.
Yes, the best movie that you two haven't seen. Now,
The band U2 has not.
Now,
seen
go ahead and
these
explain
movies.
what you're talking about.
So that means for me,
In the least amount of words.
I've seen it. They haven't.
Okay, that's pretty good. Now, if you're watching the YouTube video,
That made sense. I
that
guess,
made more
yeah.
sense.
So a movie that Wes and Pate collectively have not seen. Wes will do a movie that Pate and I collectively have not seen. Pate will do a movie Wes and I collectively have not seen. Now, this is...
By when he means do a movie, we're gonna act out the entire movie.
Yeah.
For
YouTube
you.
And they have to
exclusive.
get. We have to guess what the movie
So
is.
buckle up. It's a 6-hour
It's
episode.
going to be insane. So the fun thing about this, I thought, was seeing where our Venn diagrams, our movie Venn diagrams, intersect and where they don't. And
It made it challenging.
I think, yeah, and that's the best part, because it's like, how many good movies are there that you guys both haven't seen? And so I just figured let's just jump in and talk about what kind of movies we gravitate towards normally, because that's what made it so hard. Is if it's a drama with, I don't know, Daniel Day-Lewis in it, that automatically I can't pick it because you've seen it, right? So it's like it doesn't matter what it is. So it's like there's so many different movies and we all like different stuff, and sometimes it's the same. But the fun part was finding, the very few that stuck out to me that also you just for some reason didn't see.
Yeah.
So what kind of movies do you guys generally watch?
It's interesting. Since I became so there's a cutoff point. There's a
comedies, so it must be comedies
for sure. You guys got me. Oh. To me, it's kind of a cutoff for when
yeah, for sure.
Wes, why don't you take it?
No, what kind of cutoff is there? I want to.
I was editing the Office one today, and it was two really funny moments. Where I was like, you guys were talking about Taylor Swift at the beginning, and it was and I was like, inhale the BS, exhale the BS, and you guys were like, more BS. That was really funny. And then forgot I was just listening, and I was wondering what the heck was happening. And it was when he was pulling up the episodes, or you were like, can I see that? Wes was like grabbing it with it was so, I was like, what is happening? And I was like, oh yeah.
Just listening to the audio.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It was so funny. Anyway, so.
Peyton.
Inhale the BS.
I feel like there's a cutoff when you become an adult or you start, especially when we got Movie Pass and Regal Unlimited and stuff, where you're seeing more movies as they come out. So for me, that would be 2008, 9, 10, somewhere around there is when I started watching movies as they were coming out. Before that, I'm watching older movies to catch up, the classics, anything that Wes had in his Blu-ray collection at the time. So it's you see a lot more movies in the 2000s and 2010s as they're coming out than going back. I would say, so newer movies, I'm seeing most of them.
Right.
And then in terms of genre, I would say a very good drama is the best movie to me. Those are the most engaging ones that stay with me the longest, and the ones that I usually purchase and like to watch more than one time. So, I mean, drama is the most broad genre that there is, but I would say a very, very good, it doesn't have to be serious. It can be a dramedy too, but a really well-written drama. And I think good dialogue is the most important thing to me in a movie. Interesting dialogue will almost win out over anything else to me. So those dialogue heavy and drama, I would say.
Okay. For me, I think now I would say if a movie looks like something I haven't seen before or looks like it's doing something different or interesting, that immediately draws me towards it. I think because going to film school and having a bunch of movies kind of shoved down my throat, on top of just seeing a bunch of movies on my own, I feel like and I know this is not true, I feel like I've seen it all already in movies, and I know part of that's just I think we can all fall into arrogance about what we think about our movie tastes or whatever, but I am very impressed now when I see something that feels original or different or unique in some way. And no story is wholly unique, obviously, because that's impossible really at this point. All storytelling is based on previous storytelling that has come before it. And so when something is at least trying to present things in a different way or in a unique way, I gravitate more towards that. So in recent years, I've drifted away from like, this is the genre I like the most. And now it's more just like, what looks interesting. Before then, I would have said like a drama. My favorite filmmaker is Paul Thomas Anderson, who has done a kind of a range of movies, but they all have a similar feel to them, which is dramatic and generally, even if there's humor in them. But now at this point, like, I like things in action. I just like things when they are of high quality. To me, it doesn't matter the genre, really. Like, I've seen comedies that are great films,
right,
and action movies that are great films, but that's really kind of my criteria now. Looking at a movie is like, does this trailer, and I mean, you can really only go off the trailer, but does this trailer make this movie look like something I've already seen, or does the trailer tell me the entire movie?
Right.
Which is a big other
that's
problem.
Big pet peeve.
Yeah. I mean, you guys were leaving the movie theater anytime a Dune trailer would come up, but
that's real.
Jacob?
I would say my go-to movie, I think the hardest thing for you guys about having to pick half of your movie and me not having seen is there's a lot of stuff that I'll see. There's very few things that I won't see. And so
How was Clifford, by the way?
It was great. It was amazing. So I think my favorite's thriller. I love a suspenseful thriller in terms of genre. It's really hard to make a good comedy film. I don't typically fall into
for some reason.
I know. I don't.
It used to be pretty simple. I thought.
I think it's all just raunchy now, and that's not funny.
Right.
So
the Judd Apatow model really did a number on movie comedies.
So I don't see straight up comedy very often, just because it's like, I don't need to go hear dick jokes for an hour and a half. It's like, I'm not even gonna laugh, and there's no effort being put forth.
The last like truly funny movie that I know of that came out was Hot Rod. The one that we continue to talk about as being super funny was Hot Rod. Yeah. And since then, it's just kind of been like, nothing looks great. Comedies.
There were things about Ted that were funny, but again, it was pretty dirty. I think, to me, that's the last one that was like somewhat original, and
and his name's John Bennett.
Is it really?
Mark Wahlberg's name is John Bennett.
I did not know that.
Yep.
I feel like comedy has always done better on television. Because you only have
early 2000s comedies, though. There's a lot of really good ones.
Sure. I still would say that comedy on television does better because you can be with these characters more for longer, and you get more jokes from knowing the characters. So there's more humor the longer you're with people. Yeah. And in movies, you only have 2 hours. You have to set up the character so you know how they would
unless it's a sequel
react.
Or
Anyway, let's get back to Jake.
Yeah. Anyways.
But so I'll basically see almost anything. A sucker for space movies. Any space movie I will go see. Absolute sucker for apocalyptic movies. I mean, I saw Geostorm with Gerard Butler.
You're a big Roland Emmerich fan.
I love end of the world stuff. It's amazing.
You might like mine then.
Okay.
I remember you talking so much about
The Day After Tomorrow.
Day After Tomorrow in high school, and I still quote
been raining like this
for 3 days because of you.
So yeah, I think I have my favorite actors and stuff, but I will see almost.
That was the first
anything.
Cloverfield, really.
Day After
the
Tomorrow.
Day After Tomorrow was the precursor to.
I mean, it was pretty awesome.
Very Cloverfieldy.
And Jake Gyllenhaal was in it. So
it was good enough that Roland Emmerich keeps making that movie over and over again.
Also, what's the one with?
Praise him.
Oh, The Battle for Los Angeles was good.
With Aaron Eckhart?
Yep.
All right.
I love it. Anyway, so as far as movies and stuff that I won't see, most remakes, reboots, sequels, unless I'm like already into the first one, obviously. I'm I get less into sports movies.
Yeah.
People playing sports poorly in movies is the most annoying thing.
That's the way I feel about music movies. Like
true. Yeah. I don't feel the same way about music movies, but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, like unless they really take the time to learn how to play an instrument and do it well, it's almost always really noticeable that it's terrible. Yeah. And
is that one that you'll refuse to see, or is there any?
I don't know that
there's kind of what you talked about before.
Yeah, I don't know that there's any I refuse to see.
Gratuitous, I should probably say that. Anything that's like
a lot of horror, a lot of horror stuff I won't see.
Yeah.
Super graphic, violent horror stuff I'm not into.
Yeah.
Anything that looks really graphic, like sexually, not gonna watch it.
Yeah.
But that's more of just like a content filter, more so than a like.
Because I suppose it could be quality, but that doesn't mean we have to watch it.
Right.
Right.
I mean, there's movies that have that kind of, like, I think of Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut. Like, there's a lot of sexual stuff in that movie, and it's a very well-made movie. I've only watched it once, really.
Yeah. Or like Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights, same thing. My favorite filmmaker, and it's a good, well-done movie, but because it's so graphic, I don't go back to it very often at all.
Anything for you?
Movies that I won't watch. Is that what it?
Yeah.
Same thing. I really won't watch reboots and sequels that often. There's not a lot. I'm kind of like Jake. Like, I'll pretty much watch anything that's new.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think if you pay attention long enough, you just kind of know whether it's going to look. That's going to be okay, at least, or not.
Yeah. The problem with things like horror, the problem with things like horror and some comedies and stuff is, like, you can gather from the trailer, like, oh, this is crappy.
Yeah.
You know, like, dramas you can kind of manipulate to look better than they are, or they can make the movie look worse than it is, you know. But horror movies right now are in a terrible state. I feel like there hasn't been a good horror movie for a very long time, but the trailer kind of always gives those away.
I would say Hereditary is the last.
That's the one horror filmmaker, and him and the guy that did The Witch and Lighthouse. Those two filmmakers, Ari Aster, I think.
Yeah.
And
I don't know who did The Witch or
Robert something.
Zemeckis.
Eggers. Robert Eggers. Yeah. Those two guys seem to be up-and-comers in the horror genre and have some quality to the films that they're making.
We're not excluding Jordan Peele. I would personally classify Jordan Peele's movies as thriller.
Yeah, they don't seem like
they're
horrors to me.
They always get classified as that. I would call them suspenseful / thriller. But anyway, so we're not just excluding him. It's just I don't think it's horror, unfortunately, but everyone calls it that. So
yeah.
So let's go to the first movie that you two, peace out Bono, haven't seen. Now, my pick was Safety Not Guaranteed, directed by Colin Trevorrow, who later went on to
get fired from making one of the Star Wars movies.
But also did the first Jurassic World and then the next two that ended up being absolutely terrible. But
did he do the second one?
Yeah. Well, the second new one.
The second Jurassic World one? I thought someone else did that one.
I guess he could have done the third one.
The one that's coming out?
I know that he's done two new ones.
Oh, okay.
So this indie film is what got him noticed, and we've talked about this before. And as I was looking through his filmography, it was like, well, it's kind of what you hate, right? It's like take an indie filmmaker,
give him a giant budget,
and the first one was okay. I mean, the first new Jurassic World was okay, and the next, I mean, it was ridiculous. These people paying, I'll pay $2 million for Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's like $2 million. That is.
It's worth $2 billion.
I know that's supposed to sound like a lot of money, but when you're paying for a T-Rex, it's not. So it's like, It was terrible. But so that's kind of when I was looking into
okay,
it.
This is a perfect example of Jake. He's outraged about the amount of money. Not that they're bidding on dinosaurs, but the amount of money.
Of disbelief.
We've got $1.5 million for a Tyrannosaurus Rex. 2 sold. I'm like, okay. Anyway, so
understand your market value, Jurassic World.
Was unreal.
If you want us to believe you.
Yeah, seriously. Anyway, so it's got Aubrey Plaza in it, Mark Duplass, Jake Johnson, a couple other like Kristen Bell, and but they're very small parts. And I will just give you the IMDb, pitch. A disaffected magazine intern, played by Aubrey Plaza, befriends an unusual guy, Mark Duplass, who is looking for a partner to accompany him on a trip back through time. It is a 2012 rom-com sci-fi drama.
Wow.
Exactly.
I had no idea that was...
So basically,
the
story of the movie is Colin saw a Craigslist ad, and it sort of went viral before the internet was a thing in 97, I believe. And it was a Craigslist ad that was
a real one.
It was a real Craigslist ad, and Jay Leno read it on his late night show. And so it was like a thing that people were making fun of before you could make a meme out of something, I guess. And that's what it said. It said, I need one willing person to go back in time with me. It's a there and back return trip, like, two-way ticket or something. Safety not guaranteed. Contact if interested or something. And so that's the story is Aubrey in the writer's room of her magazine. They see that, her and Jake Johnson see this, and they're like, let's go. That's so crazy. There's no way.
So is the movie set in that time period?
No.
Like 97?
No, it's set in present day.
Okay.
But they just used that idea.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so basically the way that it plays out is it would feel like a normal rom-com were it not for like, is this guy serious? Because if he is, then it's... So it has elements of sci-fi, and it's like... And it was when I was working at Vintage Stock, which is what brought it up last night. And I would rent a random movie every time I got home, because you could rent movies for free when you work at Vintage Stock. And so I rented one every night and watched it. And so it was like... I was like, oh, I like Jake Johnson. It's funny. And I didn't really know who Mark Duplass was at the time. And I was like, sure. And it blew me away.
He's one of those guys that you see and stuff, but you never really know who he is.
Yeah. And anyway, so have you guys heard of it?
I have heard of it.
I've heard of it. I've seen... It's one of those movies that I've seen like clips of on YouTube, or it seemed to pop up whenever it came out, or even after that. But I've never seen more than like a 2-minute clip of it, essentially.
Yeah. I kind of same. I remember it coming out and hearing some things about it and seeing it around on DVD shelves and stuff, but I didn't really hear people talk about it after that.
Yeah. I think it only made like $4 million. And I mean, its budget was $750,000. So that's pretty good, right? But it's like, yeah, it's not going to blow
I think the thing is
away.
with that kind of movie, they make so many of them every year. And it's not like, obviously there's something different about that one, with it being like, I had no idea about that time travel thing.
It's crazy.
But I mean, it sounds like a movie that they make 100 times a year.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably why it got lost in
or
the
it was
shuffle.
mismarketed, right? It's like, well, if you didn't know.
Yeah.
See, to me, it looked like a bigger budget mainstream comedy. From the marketing of it and who was in it and stuff like that. I thought it was just like, I would never have guessed that the budget was like $750,000.
Yeah.
I would have guessed that was like a $20 million comedy.
Right, and this was during Parks and Rec, so Aubrey was very, in the consciousness of everyone.
Was this during New Girl too?
It probably would have been, yeah, right?
I would assume.
It just had to be on the air at least.
Yeah. It had to have been, yeah. So, yeah, her and Jake Johnson. So there's no specific reason why you guys haven't seen it.
I didn't see it because I'm not a huge Aubrey Plaza fan on her own. I thought she worked well in Parks and Rec and stuff, and I'm not a huge fan of Duplass, at least as a director. I don't... Him and his brother have made a couple movies, and they look terrible to me. And I've seen some interviews with him where it just doesn't seem like a great dude. So that and the fact that it was kind of marketed, it looked like a mainstream. I was just like,
No reason.
No.
Yeah.
And it just kind of had the feeling of like a Judd Apatow kind of comedy.
Yeah.
So it might have been mismarketed and had more quality to it than it made it appear.
Yeah, we could do a whole episode on movies that have been mismarketed. I mean,
for sure.
There's plenty, and so it's so interesting how the pitch, you have 2 minutes to convince me to watch this, could be like, nah. But it's crazy, yeah, because it's definitely it definitely surprised me, and that could be part of why I really enjoyed it. I didn't know what to expect, because I didn't know. Unlike you guys, I didn't know anything about it when it came out. The cover's like, yellow and black, almost looks like caution tape, and
it's like a label almost.
Yeah, and it says safety not guaranteed, and Mark Duplass is like checking his watch, and he's got like,
and I think that's some of it too. Like, it looked kind of a generic cover.
Yeah, and I was like, why not? So I didn't know anything about it. That could be why I enjoyed it, but it has a 92 and an 80 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Not
I knew
that
it was
that's
well
an indication,
reviewed,
but anyway. So do you guys like you don't like Aubrey Plaza, but do you like Jake Johnson?
I do like Jake. I think he's funny.
Yeah.
And it's not that I dislike Aubrey Plaza. I just think she's very specific.
Yeah.
And can really only work in certain circumstances, in my opinion.
And both of them,
I think Aubrey Plaza is amazing.
And both of them in this are they're playing. If they're not playing their same characters, they're playing people that would be best friends with their characters. It's like, you're not really Nick Miller,
but you basically,
he's cleaned up a little bit, so, yes, you're right. At least I feel that way about Aubrey too. But, so do you like Mark Duplass, Jake Johnson, and Aubrey Plaza? You like any
Mark
of the other
Duplass
work?
is okay. I've never
he's kind of just
been a huge fan of him. I think both Jake Johnson and Aubrey Plaza are really good. I think Aubrey Plaza is probably the best actor in the movie. Just specifically from watching Legion, I think she did something different.
She was very good in that.
In Legion, I think she carried most of that show with, I can't remember the lead actor's name.
Dan Stevens.
Aykroyd.
Yeah.
Dan Stevens.
I think those two are the best part of that show, and she did something very different in that show. So I think she's also was in something else recently that I saw that she was unique in. I think she's awesome, and I didn't miss it for a particular reason. I just missed it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's, I assume that's probably going to be the case with all three of our movies. I don't know if we specifically didn't watch it for a reason.
Yeah.
But
so anyway, I think that you guys would enjoy it. If not, really like it, I think if
we don't like it, how much money do you?
I'd like to watch a good Colin Trevorrow movie. I think that'd be fun.
Never seen one before.
Yeah.
So.
I think you would especially like it because it is so different.
Okay.
Right. It's like, they're gonna go together and look at this guy to see if he's serious. It's like, okay, that's a rom-com. But then there's it's not really that on the surface, which is great. And if you like them, I also like Jake Johnson, so I think that you'll also enjoy it. It has a very in the era of Garden State or Eternal Sunshine, The Spotless Mind, where it's like Eternal Sunshine more so where it is sci-fi.
Sure.
But then it's it's highbrow, is this really happening? Is this not? Is this? And so it has that feel. I'm not going to say that it's the exact same thing, but
right.
Those are the two that from that era-ish.
Probably influenced it.
Yeah. Anyway, that was me. I have two honorable mentions real quick.
Mm-hmm.
One is Paddleton, a Netflix exclusive that I was absolutely floored by.
Wasn't it directed by one of Duplass?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mark's in it, which was not something that I consciously thought.
Mm-hmm.
So Mark's in it, and I think his brother directed it, and
Ray
Romano. And I mean, I remember me and Zach were just looking for something to watch, and we watched it, and we were just absolutely floored by it. It was so good. It was like a buddy comedy, and I love stories about
imaginary friends.
If you're a girl and we're just friends, what is that?
Platonic?
I love stories about male platonic friendships.
Mm.
I freaking love it because there's no stories out there like that.
Like brotherhood almost.
Yes,
like,
and it's
yeah.
like, and so it's like this. They play this stupid game called Paddleton where they just hit this ball against this wall, and they're like two single dudes in their 50s, you know, and it's just like, and they live in the same apartment, and it's like, and I mean, it is a drama, and it like floored me and Zach. We were like, that was amazing. So
I heard, I think the Red Letter Media guys really liked
it was so good.
Paddleton a lot.
That and Peanut Butter Falcon, which
Not to be confused with Paddington.
Bear.
correct,
Yes.
Right.
correct. Both floored me. I will say.
Paddington.
I also love stories about human bear Ted. I loved Ted. Anyway, so Peanut Butter Falcon with Shia LaBeouf was also really good.
I also heard very good things.
It felt
about
like
that.
a Huckleberry Finn
Yeah.
like adventure, old school
kind
adventure
of
movie.
in the South.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyway, those are my two. We are going to do a
Rotate.
switcheroo. Who's going to go next?
I can go. We can just clockwise.
Okay.
I don't have anything in my cup. So. Do you rotate?
Wes is in the hot seat. This mic's not been checked for me, so I do not
Take.
take.
Hello.
Yeah.
Welcome to this podcast.
You
Not
are
for
the
you.
keeper of the comp.
Keep it.
So my movie for the two of you is a film called Beginners.
I've seen it. I watched it today.
So I watched it. I watched it while we were at work today.
Beginners is a movie starring Ewan McGregor, Melanie Laurent, and Christopher Plummer. Directed by Mike Mills. I'm blanking on the year. I think it was
You already got
early
me. Ewan
2000,
McGregor.
2010. So it's semi-autobiographical for the director, Mike Mills. His, it's about a guy who is a illustrator, and my gosh,
Autographical?
You did it to me. Okay. Go ahead.
So it is a story of a guy that is an illustrator, and he finds out after his mom passes away that his dad has been gay for most of their life and in the closet. And it's about how that revelation impacts his relationship with this woman that he meets and the romantic relationship that develops there. And yeah, so it's just about like your life perspective shifting and changing, and then dealing with how your relationship with your parents impacts relationships with your significant others throughout your life. And it's just really well performed, and Christopher Plummer, I think, was nominated for an Oscar in it, but
He was lucid at this point.
yes.
2010.
Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And that is one reason I really enjoyed it, is because usually topics that deal with homosexuality or that kind of stuff get very preachy.
Especially in 2010. I mean, like before.
But
Yeah.
But this was really less about that and more about, like, his dad could have told him something else about himself that he's been hiding for 50 years, and it would sort of be the same movie. But
Never mind.
just less gay.
I
Is that what you were going to say?
Yeah.
Straighter.
But yeah, so those movies that are super, like, preachy in that sense, I don't like, but this did it in a way that didn't feel that way. But yeah, have you heard of this
No.
movie?
No.
No?
And I'm a
absolutely
big
not.
Ewan McGregor fan too.
Okay, that answers that question.
No, I don't.
Any specific reason you just hadn't heard of it at all?
I think. I don't know.
Who's writer director?
Mike Mills.
Writer and director.
Mm-hmm. He's the one that is directing Come On with
Okay.
Joaquin
Oh
Phoenix.
my
and
What else has
Word.
he done?
It's gonna be good.
Yeah, it looks really good. The other
Guys.
20th Century Women, I think, is the name of one of his other films.
Checking.
It's gonna be just come on. Let's see. Yeah. Thumbsucker is an early movie of his. I haven't seen that. Beginners, 20th Century Women, and Come On.
Okay, so not that many.
No.
He's only done like 4 feature
Yeah.
lengths.
But yeah, it's just got like a really, it's funny, it's heartfelt. The dog in it has subtitles, but like Ewan McGregor's not talking to him as if he can understand the dog the whole time, but they just put subtitles over the dog anytime he's in a shot. So there's just some like fun, interesting stuff that he's doing. And I think it has one of the best romances I've seen that felt really real and romantic in like a classic sense. Like it's very sweet and but realistic at the same time. So yeah, I highly recommend it for both of you. Any other
I'd
thing?
watch it. And we will.
It's a very normal performance from Ewan McGregor. He's just playing a guy,
You
which
can do
is
that.
really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I really like Melanie Laurent a lot. She was in Inglourious Bastards.
It'd be fun to watch it before Come On comes out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know why I haven't seen it. I was a senior in high school at the time. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure
That's what?
Go ahead.
This is what I was gonna say when you asked me that the first time. I love stories about Platonic. No, I love living here. One of the biggest downside is it's possible we didn't get it.
Yeah, it is.
So
I think,
unfortunately,
the most notoriety it got was because of Christopher Plummer's performance. Because he was nominated for some stuff for sure,
right?
Because it was late in life performance and whatnot. But yeah,
so that I'm not. It's absolutely not in. I don't need an excuse, I guess, but it's like it's possible I'd never heard of it.
Yeah.
So,
I think you guys in particular would like it because it has. Obviously, from seeing the trailer for Come On, it feels similar to me. Like, I didn't like 20th Century Women as much. It really wasn't. I think a movie that's for me as an audience member.
He's more into 21st century women.
21st century girl.
But I think Come On looks more in the vein of Beginners. And so I think knowing that you guys are like, that looks good, tells me you'd probably like it.
Yeah. Cool.
And I always find it interesting when filmmakers do autobiographical stuff because it definitely feels like a very, very personal movie.
Yeah.
I almost picked Honey Boy because that's
the
what
Shia
Shia
LaBeouf
was
thing,
doing. Yeah, I that's why it had a different level of impact when So
yeah, but that's my movie. My honorable mentions. So this is not for both of you.
my
this
honorable
is
mentions.
individual ones because when we were doing this initially, we came up with kind of individual
Peanut Butter Falcon
movies. For Jake, Heat, starring Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. You're into the thriller, like you kind of like the actiony heist kind of stuff. Heat is the premier heist thriller movie. It is a perfect script, a great cast.
So he bent the rule on this because I have seen it.
For you,
I'm not gonna watch it then.
Ida, which is
Have you seen it?
I said that for individual ones.
Just kidding.
I haven't seen it.
For you, a movie called Ida. It is a European movie about a girl that is post-World War II. She's becoming a nun, and before she does, she needs to go meet her family because she finds out her parents were Jewish and died in the war. So she needs to go meet her last living aunt, and it's kind of about knowing what you're giving up whenever you commit to faith and like essentially like clergy almost as a nun. It's like you haven't experienced anything, you don't know what you're giving up.
Mm-hmm.
You should know, like, the sacrifice that you are making because it's important.
Right.
If you're just doing it. And so, it's a really, really...
Is it foreign film? Is it Swedish?
I think it's Polish, maybe. Paweł Pawlowski, I think, is the filmmaker's
He did
name.
Cold War as well.
He did Cold War, which was a letdown because I loved Ida. Yeah. Pawlowski. Yeah.
Okay.
2014. It's in black and white. Before black and white was all the rage. Yes. Those are my honorable mentions for the two of you guys. Heat and Ida.
Meeting adjourned.
Meeting adjourned.
Changing the guard.
Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. Look out, stomach.
I am.
Here we go.
For the gums and through the lips. Kind of oaky afterbirth. Okay. Oh, do you have any Splenda? Okay. Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm in the middle now. Here
I am again.
These guys are over here. Mine is a pretty fun one, and it was real hard. It was very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I was upset because every time I put movies out on the list, Jake had seen them and Wes hadn't. And then the other ones, Wes had seen and Jake had not. So this was real fun. But I did end up with a very fun one, I think. That will be fun to watch, but also has some merit to it. It is not the best movie ever, by any means.
What a shame.
I think you had the hardest job because I think we're the farthest removed.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
Let me reiterate how hard this was.
You couldn't pick Geostorm because I had seen it.
I
So
know,
that's
exactly.
The thing. Exactly.
Right.
So
the movie that I picked is called City of Ember. It was made in 2008. It is starring
Bill Murray's in it, right?
It
That's all I know.
he's seen it.
It is an adventure fantasy film.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
It is starring Saoirse Ronan. I can't remember.
Sorcy or
Sorcy?
Shearshy?
I'm sure I've read it.
It's the first thing that I saw her in.
Hmm.
It's one of her first credits. Bill Murray, Toby Jones, Tim Robbins, Mackenzie Crook from the UK office.
Tim Robbins.
Yeah. Those are the...
Was this pre or post? What's the Peter Jackson one with Ronan in it and Mark Wahlberg?
It's pre. This is her fourth
This
credit.
is before that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that was the first time I had seen her. Was the something Bones? I don't know. I can't remember.
Lovely Bones.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, it's pre that.
Okay.
Saw it.
The writer was Caroline Thompson. She wrote Edward Scissorhands, The Addams Family, the original one, Nightmare Before Christmas, amongst other things.
Big Tim Burton
Big
co-worker?
Tim Burton co-worker. Director hadn't really done that much, Gil Keenan, but he wrote Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Whoa.
So that's interesting.
Interesting.
And that one just came out. Okay, so the plot of City of Ember.
No spoilers.
When when mankind is about to come to an end, a group of scientists decide to create and populate a city deep underground. The City of Ember is to last for 200 years, after which its inhabitants are to retrieve a strong box containing instructions to return to the surface. Over time, however, the message is lost and life in Ember is rapidly deteriorating. Is that a spoiler? I'm sorry.
No, it's just like, why can't anything good stay?
I know.
You know?
Their power supplier is failing and the food is being rationed. It's left to two young teens who unearth the secret of Ember to lead the way out.
Whoa.
So,
I always thought this was an animated movie for some reason.
no, it was just lost in the shuffle of those
Young adult movies.
Yeah, adaptation from a book, young adult.
Hunger Games, Maze Runner,
Yeah.
like all of that stuff.
And it was 2008, so it was in the heat of all
Yeah.
that. Reasons that I think it's worth watching. Bill Murray in a role that I've never seen him in.
Mm-hmm.
He's
A good one?
very different. Yeah.
Am I right?
Is he actually acting?
He is acting. And it is if you've seen him in other stuff, which you have, me saying it's different means he's not doing comedy.
He's not doing Bill Murray.
He's not doing Bill Murray, and it's just a very different role, and he's in a lot of it. Number 2, practical sets, which was very 2008. They weren't doing as much CG yet.
It was starting to phase out.
But it was for something that they could have CG'd a lot of. There was, I don't remember, now it's been years since I've watched this. I don't remember hardly any CG except ones that they absolutely had to do. So all of the city, from what I remember, is practical sets.
Mm-hmm.
It's very steampunky, and the design's original-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, and the world building is also pretty original. You can probably tell from the...
Sounds cool.
It's post or apocalyptic,
right.
or post,
Pre,
or pre,
post.
or current.
There's some sort of apocalyptic
Apocalyptic is
going
happening. Apocalypto.
Apocalypse now.
I remember sources.
Suarez.
I remember her performance being definitely notable. Like there's a male lead too, but she's far superior, I think, in the story. So the other thing is, for some reason, I don't know if you guys have these kind of movies. For some reason, even though it's not the best movie, it's stayed with me, and I don't know why. So I think that would be a reason to watch it. Is
I
for
remember
whatever
you
reason,
talking about it multiple times.
for whatever reason, it's very. I think the visuals and the unique plot, especially in 2008 when it was like, 17, 16-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
I was exactly their age.
Yeah.
It was kind of, and I hadn't heard anything about it. I hadn't read the book or anything like that. So I don't know. I think for some reason, and I couldn't put my thumb on it, it stayed with me. So I think that's why I picked it. Also, very difficult. Let me reiterate how difficult this was to pick.
What were your honorable mentions?
I have one honorable mention, and it is salmon fishing in the Yemen. Also, Ewan McGregor.
Ewan.
It's a very good romantic movie that has the added difference of the location obviously is in the title, but it also plays a bigger role in the sense that the society plays a role in the story. So the society of that area of the world plays a specific role in the story of their romance. And I hadn't seen that before, really.
I always thought it was a terrible title.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that great.
I think that's why
Swimming
I was
and fishing under the sea or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it reminded me of like, what's that movie with all the old people in India? Best Exotic.
Marigold Hotel?
Yeah, it reminded me of that.
Most
like that's what I
Exotic,
thought it was.
Yeah.
Was that kind of movie. I don't know why the titles in my brain like blended together. I think they came out at similar times or something, but I just thought the title I think is why I never saw it. Like, that seems like a terrible title.
Not a good title. Not a good title. But again, the reason for this is it was very difficult.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think Jake will like it more than you.
Okay.
But I think that you'll enjoy the filmmaking of it.
Okay.
$55 million budget, and it
pretty good
not,
size,
especially in 2008.
It did not make $55 million. Let me tell you
Absolute flop.
Yeah.
Let's just get an inflation calculator here.
It made.
I just want to see what.
What year did it come out?
2008.
I just want to see what $55 million.
Earlier than I thought.
If in 2008 I purchased something,
it has
for
grossed
$50 million.
Worldwide gross is $18 million.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's pretty rough.
Yep.
That would be a $65 million project today.
He's only done.
Gil Keenan.
He's only directed like very few.
This is
what was that?
City of
6
Ember
titles.
Guy. This is the City of Ember guy.
Yeah. This is what he did.
I was talking about the salmon fishing in Yemen.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was talking about the...
Were you talking about salmon fishing too?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You switched back to City of Ember without...
No, we weren't talking about honorable mentions anymore.
Yeah.
I thought you said $55 million budget and it did not make it back. I thought you were still talking about salmon fishing in Yemen.
No. That was like 50 million. It was not 55. Not even close.
We're going to go ahead and put a poll up. If you stayed with me right there, just go ahead and vote yes. And if you didn't, don't worry about it. We'll put Wes as the other option.
You want to wrap up, or are we switching seats?
Sure. I'll wrap it up if you want me to. So the fun, should we tell them what the plan is?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's what I wrote.
Okay, perfect.
Well, that's what I meant.
Should we switch? So you do it,
I'll start the sentence.
and then you do the next part of it.
So, the fun part is going to be, the plan is we are all going to watch
these movies.
3 movies together. So, two movies that I haven't seen, 2 movies that Jake hasn't seen, and 2 movies that
2
Wes hasn't
Ewan
seen.
McGregor movies.
And then we're going to do another episode in season 3. Following
see if we hated him or not.
See what we thought.
That'll be fun.
We should do some
Popcorn.
We should do some popcorn.
Popcorn.
Maybe some drinks.
Maybe. Sure. TV.
Get a good
TV.
sound system going.
Yeah. Sure.
It is Cyber Monday. We can buy a TV. Deals.
And that is the plan. And
thanks for
from now. No.
Absolutely not. Thank you.
Here's what we're gonna do. Everyone has to sign off on this mic. So.
Well, we gotta. Okay, go.
This has been.
Wait, we need to say thank you for listening to season 2.
Well, thank you for listening. Obviously,
we're gonna take a little bit of break.
We know.
I was gonna get there. I was getting there.
We're gonna take a little bit of a break, and we will be back after the new year sometime. Probably. I think we started in February this year, right? So
yes.
Probably something similar.
We battled through a lot of adversity this year.
Mm-hmm. COVID,
tours, family values.
What?
It's
dude. Let me tell you,
Adam's Family Values.
No, it's a really old. Man, I don't remember their sketch group.
It is tough to battle through family values. Let me tell you.
I don't remember their sketch group, but it was just like I think it was getting our. No, it was like. No, it wasn't. It was the guys where here's Brett.
Oh,
Brats and Beretta.
Yes, they had a. I think in that sketch,
in the montage,
family values. I think so. I was just listing that off with, but yeah, we consistently released episodes. Back to what I was saying back a minute and a half ago, we consistently released episodes of the whole season. So that's cool.
Only half of them got listened to.
And we'll see you next year for another 40.
Probably.
Or maybe even 50.
55.
60.
Thank you. So anyway,
either way, we're going to hit our 100th episode next season. That'll be fun.
We might do a live event if you're close.
Ooh, buy our
that
mugs.
would be really cool. Please.
But thanks. Beginning, the mission statement of this podcast is to just get together, have fun conversations that we usually do, and get to know each other better,
Mm-hmm.
We're like...
I had no idea that you saw swimming and fishing in Yemen. Exactly. I had no idea.
Swimming in fishing in Yemen.
But think about this, too. Like, platonic, gross relationships.
With the bear.
But in real life.
True.
It's like us 3.
Yeah, that's true.
They
should make a movie about us. 3 seasons in a movie.
And the thing about it is also this. Like...
YouTube exclusive.
No.
YouTube exclusive.
Here's the thing about it, too.
What
is this?
He's only got so much slack. Oh, okay.
Is we thank you so much. And my name, you have to come over here. All right, guys. So get in here. Get in the shot.
Okay.
Get back. Get over here.
We're in the shot.
We're in the shot.
Get over here.
So anyway.
Get over here.
Family values.
This is for you, Peyton.
No, it's not.
It's for you.
We haven't been releasing the episodes. This is just all
Is
been
this
a
my
prank on
last
you.
psychiatrist?
It's a good time to tell you.
We just record these for you.
www.
Are you sending him off to a lab?
patesthoughts.gov/patesthoughts. Check it out.
It's been fun.
$6.99 available.
It's been
at
a great
thisPodcast@Top3.com.
season. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for you guys being here. I'm talking to you too, even though they won't come up with me. All right, guys. My name's Peyton.
My name's Wes.
My name's Jake.
All right.
Bye.
This has
This has been this podcast.
is not for you.
Oh, yeah.